Hey everybody, it's episode 5.3.
Part 3, y'all.
Yep, we're going to be talking about the last subject that we wanted to talk about. We had a lot of subjects.
Yeah, apparently
Yeah.
each subject we talked about for at least like almost an hour and a half.
Had a lot to say on it at least, so.
We introduced too many subjects on that first episode. So we're going to try not to do that so we don't have all these five. We're not Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah. Right.
We're not going to have all these 5.1s.
358 and a half and 7
day.
by 6 days.
Yeah. So
it's
today we're going to be talking about,
midnight.
we weren't going into that. Why are you continuing?
We're not going into that.
Why are you continuing just looking at me
we're gonna
like
keep
that?
going. He didn't say we were going into it either.
So
we're back with everybody. Artist MDC is here because it's just a continuation of the last discussion.
If you haven't checked out the last episode, why are you introducing people?
I feel like at the beginning of each episode.
Yeah, we introduce them. There's a time. You better
MDC,
not say anything, MDC.
Do your squawk.
Do not say anything. Do not.
All right then, Neff, since you're the one commandeering this.
Yes, 5.3. If you haven't checked out 5.2, make sure you check out that. Make sure you check out 5.1. Make sure to like and subscribe and click that bell icon. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Without further ado, introduce yourself.
Oh, okay. It's Artist Wife Midnight.
Writer Husband Neff.
Featuring
MDC.
You can say something this time now.
Oh, yeah, because before I had a gun to my face, I was told not to say anything.
I'm dying.
Oh, please don't
Sorry.
die. So what are we talking about today, Neff?
We're going to be talking about...
So you're the captain of the ship now.
It's a lie. Well, actually, MDC said it's not a lie. I say it's a lie when people think that they don't have enough time. MDC said everyone's going to die. So, honestly, you don't have enough time. And I think he totally took what I was trying to say, out of proportion. Like, that's not what it meant. I understand everyone is going to die sometime. But I feel like when we see people like, well, for me, Drake, when he first came out, he was like 20-something. Now he's like 30-something. And now, I just turned 30 last year. And it's like, I don't have the amount of success in my writing that I would want to have. And during my 20s, I felt like, I need to be doing this, I need to be doing that, and that I'm running out of time. And then you see people like, the Kardashians or whatever what was her last name? Because it's like the Kardashian, and then there's the
Jenners?
Yeah, the Jenners. And you see her. But, no,
Yeah,
I mean, like in the sense of she's on her way to becoming like the youngest billionaire. And whatnot. And a lot of people,
I mean, I do want that success.
They have like the reality TV show gig, and you have a lot of young women and young dudes that look at that, and it's like, why I can't be on my stuff? Why can't I be on my brand?
Don't say it.
And MDC,
don't say it. We know what she did to get here.
No, I'm not even talking about Kim Kardashian. I'm talking about
just the family in general.
Yeah, the family in general, because
they've maintained their success. Not. Oh man.
No, I'm dead serious. I feel like the mother worked it in a way where they created a brand for themselves. It's unfortunate with the thing that happened with Ray J or whatever. I'm assuming that's what you're talking about. But at the same time,
it's a lot more than that. But
you can't admit that they're not successful, and people are going to look at that. People are going to look at that success, and they're going to be like, 25. Why I'm not there,
Yeah.
All of that.
Despite the Kardashian reference, I know the feeling that you're talking about, because as an artist, I've seen on the internet for years, since the creation of DeviantArt and MySpace, these amazing, talented artists. And mind you, I'm not going to put a time step on myself, but I was in high school, coming out of high school, when I saw these other 14, 15-year-olds where their artwork is like Renaissance style paintings or whatnot. Like they are the reincarnations of master artists of European times. And it's like, holy crap. They're 16. When I was 16, which could have been, whatever time, 3 years ago, 2 years ago now, much more than that, I was like drawing, no, not stick figures, but, oh man, my drawing they didn't look like that. And you see that a lot, especially all over the internet.
I mean, my drawings didn't look like that either. MDC, is there something you want to add to this? He's just been like
Hovering.
sniper facing me for like all while my wife was talking.
I'm, yeah, I'm just really mad at that Kardashian reference. I really am. I really hate of all the people.
Yes, I know they pull from black culture. Yes,
all the people in the world, from Stan Lee
but
to
she's killing it.
to the woman that
She's
wrote Harry
killing
Potter,
it,
to
and
George
she's young.
Lucas, to
She's
hold
young.
on.
That's
Hold
a
on,
good
hold on.
reference.
But no.
J.K.
You have a
Rowling.
point. You have
Yeah.
a point. They old, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was much older when she finally got a publishing company to get her manuscript of Harry Potter. And mind you, that she was turned down by a lot of companies. I think she had a child, two children already. She was on the brink of homelessness, if not already homeless, or like right on the edge of it. And finally, this small publishing company, was like, okay, we'll publish this. Took her years to get to where she is now. I mean, look at Harry Potter now. It's a household name.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she's one of the richest artists, right?
Writers,
Currently.
authors.
Well, in the sense of art is writing, so they kind of
Well,
group it up.
Sorry, yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
Yeah, because literature arts, it's arts.
she's made a lot. She's made a lot from off of it.
Yeah, and
from
she
off
wasn't
Harry Potter.
a young, successful, up and coming. Her life isn't a story where it's like she just walked up the stairs. She had to make the stairs. She had to find pieces. Just metaphorically speaking, she didn't achieve that success easily or in a youthful manner. Like that idea that if you're over 25, you're already wasting a lot of the time you have.
Yeah, I can tell you. I let that get to me in my teenage years. You mentioned DeviantArt. I would be on DeviantArt and I would see like all these just superb, magnificent artists.
Yeah.
And I would be like, why can't I get this? Why isn't this clicking? I've been drawing for all my life. Pretty much. I started drawing when I was 4.
He's got cute little books too. I love them.
Yeah, I was making books and everything, and it was like, why isn't this the same? Why when I'm trying to draw this, I'm getting so much trouble and whatnot, where it seems like for other people they're just so much more talented. Like I thought I had a talent to draw. That's what I've been told growing up. And I think that's like a big issue for a lot of people. They think that talent is enough. And it's so much more. It's so much more than talent. You got to put in a lot of effort and a lot of work. And I didn't put in that time and effort. I let myself get discouraged, and I ended up falling from off of drawing. And it's literally, I want to say it's been years since I last pick up a pencil to like seriously draw. At one point, the comic that me and my wife is working on, Andre's Week, used to be called Nephilim the Vampire Hunter.
Yeah.
I was drawing that before I met my wife. I was drawing that. I didn't like the way the first scene came out, so I ended up redrawing it, like probably like a year or so later when I was allowing myself to get better. The thing about it is you gotta allow yourself the time to get better. It's not going to be instant, and I think a lot of people, they look for that instant change, that instant success. Like you hear about, like even on YouTube, like you might go and artists is talking about discovering their style,
An overnight
like
success.
Yeah, a lot of people think that it's overnight success, but it really isn't.
You just noticed it then. That's all it really is.
Like with us, I want us to just share our failures and stuff. Like, cause it is. There's a lot of failures.
Because it took me, I was drawing for a long time, not as young as Neff, but I started drawing comics officially, like I had mentioned, middle school into high school, and I just started seeing an actual like quality. Personally, to me, I started seeing actual quality to my art 3 years ago, and it was 3 years ago that I decided to just break off everything that I had thought I'd known about art and about my art and what I wanted to see for my art. And that's something that I feel like holds a lot of people back, especially if they've been told, oh, you have talent. You're so talented. I wish I can draw like you. You have so much talent. People like that. And that was me too. I had people in high school. I had peers around me that would look to me and be like, oh, you're so talented. You're so talented. You're so talented. And so for a long time, I kept there. I believed I was not egotistically, like subconsciously, I believe that I'm so talented at art. I don't have to learn anymore, like I didn't think that, but that's pretty much of what happened for some time. I thought I didn't have to learn much anymore and that I could just keep coasting. I also was not using references because at the time there was this misinformation going around for a lot of people I know to not use references. That's cheating. That's a lie completely. I'll talk about that in another one.
Yeah, no, I actually second that because I felt discouraged when I would use like a photo reference.
Yeah.
It's for a post or whatnot. It's like, people would be like, that looks good, but I'm telling myself like I feel like I should have had like the knowledge of anatomy to be able to do that from off the top of my head. I didn't know that it was okay to use, photo references and whatnot to draw.
Yeah, and it's okay to, if you need to use it again. If you didn't get it the first time, use it again. It's okay to do that. We cap ourselves at this time that there's this part what we consider is our peak, like subconsciously, I guess. And we're stuck there. And so when we see ourselves not getting better, not progressing, but we're getting older, that feeling of running out of time, that's what I felt. I felt it too. In my early 20s, I was like, I can't believe my art still looks like this. I'm no longer getting compliments of like, oh, you're so talented, or I wish I could draw like you. I stopped hearing that. And I started hearing like people just kind of shrugging off my art. And I'm over here putting what I think is my heart and soul. But I ended up capping myself at the level that I was. And then I had the feeling of just like, I'm getting too old. I won't be able to do this. I can't join the game this late. I should have been in the game. I should have been on top of the game. Oh. Our mic was tired of listening to me talk.
Is it possible y'all can... Is there something y'all can tighten that?
MDC can probably tighten it a bit. No, it's pretty tight.
No, that's not where
that's like his own thing, yeah.
Oh.
Crappy.
Hold it up. I got a screw.
Okay. So while MDC fixes the mic a little bit, yeah, I felt the panic. I felt the fear. I felt like I couldn't be a quick comic book artist. Who wants to hire a 30-year-old or 31-year-old, 32, or 29, or 28?
I'm going to say you're
25.
Not in your 30s.
Not yet. Who wants to hire a late 20s comic book artist?
Told you, she's the same age as you, MDC.
I can't keep up with people who keep their age a secret.
I'm not keeping it a
she
secret.
She never kept her age. Well, no, she would lie about her age to her siblings.
Yeah, only because there's so many of us that I got tired of them saying, oh, you're going to be so old. You're going to be old too. But besides that, I really thought age was working against me. And that was a big fear. I thought time was working against me.
So not to stop you right there, because
I was stopping myself.
To allow you to stop yourself to stop right there. Damn it.
No one tells me what
to do. So we need to really learn like how to play charades, or I need to learn how to play charades better, or we need to like learn sign language, because MDC was trying to tell me something, and I think I got the gist of it.
Something about an ex.
He wants one of us to talk about our ex.
No, that's not. No.
That's okay. Because
okay, see,
this is Artist Wife Writer Husband podcast. I don't think it's in my best interest to be talking about any of my exes.
Yeah, it's not.
Well, see, the first word was can.
Yeah.
I was trying to. I didn't have a can on me, so I was trying to give you the impression I'm opening up a soda can. So that's.
So you wanted something to drink?
No, fool. I was trying to say can, and I pointed to my eye.
Can I?
Can I?
Yeah, and I was trying to say. I was trying to how you do a hand signal for mention.
I don't know.
That's why weird. I aimed like the third time I aimed at my mouth.
X, and I was like, X gonna give it to you, like.
And then, but the thing about it, you said yeah, so I'm thinking, okay, did you understand what I'm saying, or you just?
I thought you wanted to say something about your ex.
Wow, actually, well.
What are you gonna mention?
Okay, so let's just bypass this because
This
is
was
a
all.
mess.
Yeah.
Okay, so one of the things I wanted to point out, and this is funny because I'm not where I want to be right now, even though I've seen a lot of progress. Not even, well, really toward last fall of last year is when I saw a lot of progress, but definitely since the beginning of this year started, I've seen a lot of progress. I literally just sold an original art piece this past weekend.
Congratulations!
Woo!
Woohoo!
Thank you.
I'm gonna insert some clapping.
Yeah.
No, I want a Coliseum roar.
Sound
You know, I
like
want,
Coliseum roar.
yeah. Are you not entertained? But anyway,
Give them the Oprah audience. You get a painting. You get a painting.
yeah, I
Everyone
mean,
gets a painting for
oh,
free.
okay, wait a minute now. Just slow down there now. But one thing I'm going to say, and I'm gonna try not to be repetitive because I believe I may have said this before, but I've definitely seen the rewards in my progress over the years. I remember years ago, I had basically decided years ago I had just started and didn't stop. And it's funny looking back recently, I realized so many times in my life where I had critics, be it strangers, friends, families, who never understood where I was trying to go with my talent and vision. And no matter what, for whatever reason, I was able to stand strong through all that to get to the point that I'm at now. And one of the things, and what I was trying to signal to Neff here is I wanted to bring up a particular person, but I thought, it's not necessary for me to do that. So I'll just say a person I knew once.
You don't have to use their name.
Well, yeah, I don't.
If it'll make it easier for you to tell the story, we can give them
A fake name?
a fake name.
Yeah,
Okay.
call them like
Satan.
Brianna
So
or something.
Satan.
yes, we'll go with Satan. Satan. What about him? Her.
You guys freaking suck.
I
Anyway.
didn't even do it.
Oh my god. Anyway, years ago, this person, me and them would kind of clash on basically getting busy to get things done. And I remember this was one of the times where I remember later down the line, this person said to me, it's like, I was always worried about not getting things done, but I realized I had to start them today. And in my mind, I'm just thinking to myself, yeah, no shit, I said this to you years ago. But, everyone kind of has to learn that at their own pace. There's I think it's a Chinese proverb or philosophy. It's like if you plant.
Sorry.
Why'd you get in the mic to laugh about
'Cause
something
I had
you
to.
didn't even witness? Like, they don't even know what the heck happened. You just jump in the mic.
Don't tell them.
How'd you go on that side? Anyway, there's a Chinese proverb, and they're just going through my liquor. There's a Chinese proverb, I believe it says, if you plant the seed today, the tree will be there tomorrow. Yeah, I'm probably paraphrasing, but that's
It's a
one
fast-growing plant. Damn.
uncultured heathens.
But no. Go on. I understand what you're saying.
But yeah, that's one thing I can say that has been really 100% true, because I remember years ago I would get so intimidated looking at how much work I had to put into things. Like, one of my added talents that I always neglect is that I've actually built quite a few costumes. And the reason I forgot it because I just kind of just did it when it came up. It's like, okay, I need a costume for this, so I'm gonna make it, whether it be a film, a photo shoot, or just going out to party. And one day I turned around, and I pretty much didn't even realize that I had a total of about 10 costumes. I'm thinking, good Lord, when did I even do this? But that's what happens when you focus on getting the work done as opposed to how long it would take to do it. And in fact, that's how this year has been for me so far. It's like, it's not even quite mid-February yet. I've already accomplished more than in this short span of time than I could years ago in an entire year. And it's just because when this year started, I just really took on the mindset that I wasn't compromising with anything, and I just went with that. And the thing about it, we often talk about like running out of time, and I say, well, one thing I really put into my head a while ago is that I'm like, when I die and leave this earth, am I going to be happy looking back at what I've done? And I realized that, well, if I'm not doing film, not doing art, not doing music, not doing photography and everything else, I'm like, absolutely not. I would not be happy. Because, frankly, a day job, desk job, or anything I would do to feel comfortable would be completely meaningless to me. I've honestly set all these things I plan to do in life to purpose. It's honestly not even about me at this point anymore. Especially when people come back to me about my films and photography, and they're like, "God, I love seeing you represent dark-skinned Black women." And for me, honestly, that's just second nature to me. I'm not even really. It wasn't even 100% I was thinking that when I was doing that, but when people said that, I'm realizing, you know what? I guess I just got all the right things going on where it just comes naturally to me.
Right.
So you said 3 things that I wanted to. Did my chair move?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, that's okay.
I
Nope,
totally wanted to say something.
I did too.
Okay,
So-
but I haven't gotten a chance to say anything since the last time.
Well, before you go in.
You
It's
told me
just
to
to
shut
touch,
up
touch
originally.
one thing. Just to
Okay,
touch
go
one
ahead.
Thing, one thing.
Because I want to do 3 things, so I'll give you the one.
Okay.
Memorize.
So, MDC.
Yes.
That right there, what you said totally defines the whole quote of live every day like it's your last. A lot of people, they look at that and they think like, I need to live it partying or gambling or enjoying the best things of life.
Mm-hmm.
The thing about it, and I thank Steve Jobs for helping me realize what it meant when people say that, is living your life on your own accord,
Mm-hmm.
doing what you want to do.
Yeah.
Because for a lot of us, we can agree, because we have other jobs, that if we were told that today, if tomorrow was our last day, we wouldn't go to work.
Yeah.
Like, quite honestly, we wouldn't go to work. We would spend that day, whether it's making amends with your family members or people that you feel like you wronged,
Mm-hmm.
or just finally doing what you want to do.
Yeah.
And that's what it means. If you, Steve Jobs say, you wake up in the mirror and you ask yourself, are you doing what you really want to do? And if there's multiple days, consecutive days, where that answer is no, then you got to make the change.
Mm-hmm.
You got to make the change for something better. I know that's off topic to the main point here that we're
Yeah,
trying
you could
to
have
make.
let me make my points instead of going all the way off.
But I just wanted to touch that because I
was
know
very important to say. Yes.
MDC himself had wondered, like, what exactly that quote means, and it definitely means living life on your own accord and whatnot. And that's one of the hardest things and whatnot, because there's like so many times when I feel like I'm not doing enough writing, I'm not doing enough on social media, which is true. And I feel like I'm literally running out of time. I'm like, yo, I'm 30. I need to do something. I need to start a change or whatnot. But it's more so me coming from out of like a place of desperation than really, it's more so like me stressing myself out and whatnot. Like, I'll see other people that are writing comics. I'll see other people that, writing comics, promoting comics, going to the conventions that I want to go to. And I feel disappointed. I feel like this could be me, but, I'm basically effing up. I'm fucking up myself and whatnot. And it makes me hate the job that I'm at and whatnot, because I feel like, I'm giving my best years to this job when I could be focusing on what I really want to focus on. and whatnot. And
And I wanna, and Midnight, please hold that thought because I was want to capitalize on what he was saying. This is one thing I come to extra realize because I was definitely getting to that point where I really hated being at my job to the point that for the second time I almost got fired. And this time I had pretty much had been, but I'm a pretty good negotiator, and the fact is I had put so much good work into place and was really well liked around there that it's really hard for them to get rid of me, honestly. So and it's funny because when I first heard the news, there was a strong side of me that really just wanted to take that opportunity and say, you know what, screw it. Let me take this as to take all the time I need at home, get my art done, and move on with my life. But then there were some things I had to consider because even financially, it's not really about me right now. And I know our career-wise, there's still things I need to buy that frankly cost quite a bit of a paycheck. And so I had to think for a minute. I'm thinking, well, Jamal, if you're going to sit here, if you're going to negotiate to keep your job, you better make your job work for you. And the thing about it, technically, I had been doing that. I mean, obviously, I used that money to, get things that I needed. But one thing I wasn't really doing is really taking advantage of where I worked. The fact that we ship things there. And I realized, you could really just ship your art out of this place, and save up from going to the post office, and then on top of that, like a couple of people there that I work with, I'm starting a band with one person there. One of the people there I do films with. We just recently found out that we work with an editor. I do brain exercises with someone that's trying to develop his fantasy world. It's just I'm thinking, I'm actually right in the right place right now. Not to mention how good I actually have it here, and I really had to put down all the grudges I felt toward this place, how it's been in like the last year, and all these things. I really had to embrace the fact that not only was I really lucky to get this job, but I'm in an environment where they really do allow me to do a lot of things that most jobs would not allow me to do. And I really had to drop my ego and really humble myself and really not only be grateful, but really look at the fact and say, wow, actually, this job could actually help you in more ways than just financially. And I really had to make use of that. And that's one thing I really, that you also need to recognize.
That into the mic.
Sorry.
it's like I'm trying to make a mental note of when he's coughing in the mic. Like, this is the second time so far. And I'm just like, okay, yeah, I'm going to have to edit this out.
Yeah, sorry. But,
even though I just did it that time.
But you also sometimes have to look at the job you have. It's like maybe you absolutely don't have the option of leaving right now, but look at how much you can actually use it to your advantage beyond just financially.
Right.
Sometimes environment is a benefit. The people you work with can be a benefit. There's just so many things to look at, and that's the thing about being strategic. You really look at what you have and making the most of it.
So
Yeah.
that it seems as if you're not wasting your time here.
Yeah. That's something me and Midnight was talking about.
Yeah, okay. What was that?
We were talking about how you kind of have some people that's try to tell others, like, you need to do this. You need to do part A, step A to get to, step B or whatever, or part B. And that's not necessarily true. Some people, they can, achieve what they want to achieve with a full-time job. Others got to do with a part-time job. Well, others got to quit that job and just dive head in and whatnot. It's different. It's different for everyone. Everyone has something different. You have your financial situation. We, of course, have our financial situation and kids that we have to take into consideration of. And I know for myself, I wouldn't want to put my kids and my family through that stress. And so even though there are days when I just want to quit and just dive, head first into my writing and stuff, it's like, no, I can't do that. I gotta for now, make the best with what I have.
Yeah.
And whatnot. But yes, midnight.
Oh, is it my turn?
Yes. Well, there's really not turns
Oh, is
to
it?
say. We just have bring topics.
You just keep the woman.
It's
as
an
the one that
open
says it last.
discussion. No one's trying to
Oh no! I'm gonna.
silence the black female here,
I'm just saying,
or at least I don't think. I mean, black woman. no one's trying to do that, bro.
Wonder Girl.
I wanted to compliment MDC on the topic points that he brought up.
What about me? Did I do good? Okay, I'll shut up.
If you had let me go on first, I could have wrapped it up, and then you could have gotten on with your spiel. But what I was gonna say is, I like 3 things you said. Unfortunately, I don't fully remember the third one. But don't compromise with everything. I had to write them down on my phone because that was a lot of time that passed. Don't compromise with everything, not even with time. That's a really good point. You don't have to compromise with time. Time isn't against you. Time can work with you. But at the same time, you're not controlled by time. Yes, everyone dies in the end, and more often not for a lot of people, they don't know when they're going to die. But that isn't a fear that you should have. You don't have to compromise with the fear of ending, death, and that you're running out of time. Time is subjected to the reality that you live in. So if your reality is, I'm going to live eternally, you can do that. Do you want to know how? You can live on through your legacies.
Of course.
Yeah, those things are things, your names would be echoed through like the halls of times for hundreds of thousands of years to come. I mean, look, we still talk about, name a famous king, MDC.
Mansa Musa.
Yeah, that's a perfect one, yeah. He's not unfortunately, as well known, but he's a name that I've heard of.
I was going to say Chaka Zulu.
Well, he wasn't but you know what?
He was a king, but the reason I avoided him is because that's the African king everyone in their racist grandma knows. I want to
and so
but that's
what?
good though, yeah. You did pick one that was I've heard of, but that's a good one too, yeah.
Okay, wait, was Alexander the Great a king? He was a king, right?
He was a conqueror.
He was a madman.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, he became like the king of like
Xerxes.
many different. Yeah, that's another one.
Okay.
Privileged punk, but okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
But-
Xerxes worked hard for that empire, bro.
I'll say this: 300 did not depict him accurately. I'll say that.
Yeah,
but
definitely not. They nerfed the mess out of him.
Yeah, but there's still some controversy about that because he also failed to capitalize on the fact that they already had a war with Greece 10 years prior to that invasion and did nothing to do anything different. And that's actually why they failed, not because the Spartans were necessarily. I mean, they were a great fighting force, but this ain't a history podcast. I'm not about to get on.
Not
that.
yet, but we'll talk about that next time. Yeah, these names.
Next time,
they
artist wife,
live on.
her husband.
Even your great racist great grandfather. I'm pretty sure somebody's.
But
George Washington.
But not, you know what? But
What's
no,
his name?
screw the kings for a minute. Let's just think about even like okay. Let me. I'm gonna have to really dig in here. But
Why
there's
he
a lot
says
of
that?
people that are known. Like if you take, here's the thing about history. It's as current as 3 seconds ago. Every moment that passes, sorry, there's a distracting noise that pops up every now and then when someone drinks their drink. But anyway,
Drink that drink.
every moment that passes is essentially history in theory.
Right.
And you never know how much of the past will eventually be recognized into the larger scale of history. If you think about every historical figure that we know about and that we will eventually know about, there was a point in their life where they were just some insignificant individual just like the rest of us.
Yeah, they had time working against them, flying quotation marks. They were aware of the concept that they might be running out of time, but it didn't stop them from living eternally in our knowledge, in our history.
Mm-hmm. And because I know, and I say this because bringing up kings can sound very intimidating to a point, and
True.
but at the same time, that's the thing about success. You have to be your own king. Screw ruling the empire, rule your household.
That's a very
rule your
good point.
own personal life, your
MDC,
own
drop us some
business.
facts.
whatever that may be to you. Even though I think history is a great referencing point, because at the end of the day, people back in ancient times or whatever, they were given their circumstances. They didn't have the internet like you do. The internet is your new playing field. It's just different.
Recording history and whatnot.
Yeah,
we have an advantage over that.
That was actually something we was talking about before, where one of Midnight's business coaches was telling her that she needed to get a website, and she was urging that she gets a website, and she was reprimanding her every time she didn't, have you have a website yet?
Yeah,
you
she's
have
been
a website
talking
yet?
about it for I looked
You
at
have
my
a website
book.
yet? Hey, how about that website,
About
man?
to be a year now.
And how did it make you feel, basically?
So making a website to me is something that I don't fully understand. Like, I've seen Neff do HTML coding one time. I've seen him do it more than once.
CSS too.
Huh?
CSS. That's
Yeah,
more
whatever
advanced.
it is.
Yeah.
Sorry, but and it's just numbers and symbols, and it's so confusing. And he reads it like a book, and it wowed me. And I've seen other people where they're just like making a website, and I get the concept of slap picture image on background, slap another image on this, right? Words, those are background thing. Me midnight, me make drawing. That's pretty much how I felt in compared to websites. So it was a daunting task. So I sat there and I was trying to make it less scary. All the while, she was telling me to use sites like WordPress, and they make the website for you, to make the template. Yeah. I didn't have a template in mind though. Everything that I came up with as far as a layout was something that looked like from MySpace. In fact, I just made again, this is like my 7th, 8th time doing it, a mock layout of what my page might look like, and it looked like it was from MySpace again. I hated it. I really did. I didn't like it. I liked what I was going. I don't know. So every time she would tell me all of last year, do it, make the website, just do it now. You need to have something out there at least. I felt I didn't want to do it. It pushed me from wanting to do it. It made me more intimidated. It made me more scared. I knew that I needed a website eventually, but I wanted the idea to come to me. And I didn't like the idea that it was being forced to come to me. And I feel like with a website, especially for a business, there needs to be intention behind it. If my entire intention was just to do it because someone told me to do it, that doesn't feel right to me, and it makes me dislike it more. And that's where I was. I was in a state of just like frustration. And I felt like I was running out of time. A year's gone past. I told you this a year ago. I told you this a month ago. I told you this 2 months ago. You're not doing it now. You need to be doing it now. It scared me. I felt scared.
And I want to say one of the biggest issues.
Not like it was like being bullied into it or anything. I mean, she's a business coach. She knows what she's talking about. But it still scared me. Yeah,
I definitely want to say, not saying that saying that one of the things people should be watching out, especially ones that take the role of a mentor, is really telling your pupil what they need to do, like using that word need, because it's not necessary for you to have a website. Like Jamal was saying, when you put history into perspective, you look at Madam C.J. Walker, when she became literally the first female black millionaire. She didn't use no internet. She didn't have a Kickstarter crowdfund program
right.
to bring her up. Like all of those, whatever she did, it was different. It was without the use of technology. Now, not saying that a website isn't good.
She utilized the technology of her time. That was good.
Right.
So I get the concept. It's just that she was able to still do that with less than what we have.
Yeah. And that's one thing you have to take into effect, that, or to be more recent. You look at someone like Sakimi-chan. Sakimi-chan,
I love Sakimi-chan.
as far as I know, does not have a website. She has everything else, right? She has a Facebook page. She has an Instagram. She has
Twitter.
She has Twitter, DeviantArt, I think still.
Yeah, she still updates it.
Maybe ArtStation.
She was on DeviantArt first, I believe, because
that's when I first discovered her.
She's even on YouTube.
But you look how successful she is on her Patreon. She's literally making close to what, half
8,
a million.
Oh yes,
half a million a year.
Yeah.
from off of Patreon, and it's like she has other, not saying that she don't have other avenues too, where she goes to conventions, and she had a
does.
very successful Kickstarter campaign. I think it was either last year or the year before. But
Yeah.
sorry,
I'm not trying to be like MDC and making
Midnight
noises in the mic.
Midnight blew a kiss
It wasn't a kiss. That was
off to the side,
was-
where it looked like you was flaking what, something from
no,
off
I
your
didn't want
chin.
it. I burped in the other direction. Now you
Oh.
found. Are you happy now? You put me out there.
I was like, I thought she was. I was like, who are you blowing a kiss to? I got scared. I thought there was a ghost over there.
That's not the first thing I did with the goat. Goat.
Wow.
I'm gonna find me a goat.
No, don't start that. Continue. So Kimi-chan doesn't have a website, but she's extremely successful.
She's extremely successful. Now that's risky at the same time, because you got to understand that things like Facebook, things like Instagram. I mean, by her having that stuff, and I think of Pinterest too, she's maximizing the amount of people that get to see her stuff. But you don't really own that stuff.
Yeah, she does a
So,
lot of fan artwork. I mean, she also has her own original pieces, but
Well, I mean, like in the sense of, she doesn't own her page. She doesn't own her Facebook page. She doesn't own her Instagram page.
oh, you're right.
If
That's a good
Facebook
point.
or Instagram, for whatever reason, was to close out, then how would her fans be able to reach her and whatnot? So with a website, you look at that as a way as owning real estate.
And another thing I want to point out, like, again, going back to, like, so I'm in my second band now.
Where people can come and find you. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm gonna find you in a minute.
I was not finished.
Are we in the same
Oh
room?
shit!
What you
I knocked something over. I don't remember what it was.
can't bring nobody in your house. Anyway,
So sorry.
That's
I'm so
true,
sorry.
though. That's true.
freaking darn it. Anyway, so I'm in my second. This is my second time in the band now, and
Your second or third time?
well, if we're counting that one incident and cutting it up
the whole
into
incident, though.
well, because it went through 5 different phases, and if I'm counting the 2 phases I was in, then technically I was in 2 bands. And briefly, I guess a third one too. I don't know. Point is, this is the second one I'm counting. I'll say that.
Okay.
Maybe okay. I'll say this. This is my 3rd or 4th music project. I'll say
Okay.
that. And it will be there will be a number 5 as well. But one thing I'm gonna say, a lot of times, again, when people think about success, a lot of people immediately think of celebrities and known people. Now, one thing to think about, again, that's just one kind of success, and I give you a good example, like think of the most famous actor you can think of, like off the top of your head, like someone like I don't know,
Leonardo DiCaprio.
yeah, all right. So I'm gonna mention
Angela Bassett.
I love Angela Bassett.
I know, right?
Oh my god. So yeah, so I'll mention the actor.
See, I was gonna say Idris Elba, but
No, that
last episode my wife was swooning over him,
I will always.
so I was like, yeah, let's not bring that back up again.
You already did. It's too late.
No.
so I
Why are
wanna.
you swooning?
Oh my god, I have to.
Early does that, and remember what you're gonna say. The other point that I wanted to get to, because stuff, it was like doing what comes naturally to you, and you'll find that the time has been spent wisely. That's something you might have heard a lot as a kid, or just growing up. Like, do what you love, and you will eventually see. Yeah, but how do you know that you're doing what you love? How do you know that this is the thing that you spend your time on? What if you've been wasting your time? I've seen that in so many movies, books, anime, mangas, whatever have you, where the character questions if what they're doing is a proper use of their time. And they have people in their life. I know real people who've had that, and the people in their lives would come to them and saying, like, you know, you're wasting your time doing this and that, waiting for this and that. And that's scary. And you're human, I feel like, for having that fear that what if what you're doing isn't the proper use of your time? But if you honestly sit down and think about how happy doing that thing does for you, despite the negativity that happens. Because negative times do feel bigger than the happy times. They always do.
Yeah, they always feel like they last the longest.
Right.
But
if
no,
you
I
look
like
back,
that.
Yeah.
You're basically saying that sometimes it's best to wait for it, right? You're saying that we all need to be Aaron Burr.
That's what I thought of first too, yeah.
we all need to wait for
it.
it. We all need to kill an American politician.
Well, okay. Wow. I'm not again. Eat the rich. Eat the rich.
Wait for God darn it, what's her freaking name? For y'all don't know nothing. Hold up.
I don't.
God darn it. Oh yeah, we're to kill a politician for Jodie Foster.
What?
See, this
Wait,
is
what?
how much y'all suck. No one gets that reference.
What? Kiddo Parsnip? What?
I think he said kill a politician for Jodie Foster.
Yeah, y'all get that right.
No.
No.
What's a Jodie?
Who's Jodie Foster?
Oh my God.
Is that an actress?
I'll look
Yes.
it up now.
Oh! It's the guy that killed that
Guy?
assassinated John F. Kennedy.
No,
Oh.
my God. Oh my God, man.
Wait, no, no. I'm saying he assassinated John F. Kennedy for Jodie Foster's love, right? What is?
I'd rather.
You're thinking of John Hinckley, who attempted to kill Reagan for Jodie Foster.
Oh, okay. He didn't actually go through with it.
No, he failed.
Oh, is that
Oh,
where?
damn.
Whoa, you actually were a little bit on point.
No,
though.
he was.
A
No,
little bit.
don't give him
No, I thought he
nothing.
actually did
Aw,
it.
hand
But no,
clap.
that would have been.
But see,
a while
actually,
ago. I'm
that
so
wasn't
sorry.
even the exact reference I
know
was
it.
going for because
We're
if y'all
cutting this
watch
out.
movies like Taxi
We're
Driver,
cutting this out.
Wow, no, you get to keep those moments in. If my moments stay in, your moments stay in.
I'm the Rick of this fucking show,
No,
bro.
I'm not the Morty.
Y'all are my Mortys. I'm the Rick.
I'm Morty.
If
Morty.
y'all ever catch me in the wrong, I gotta delete that from y'all memories.
You know, don't make me go
Wiping
Thanos
the
on you,
slates.
all right?
Fucking
I'm-
clean,
I'm-
I
bro.
find your lack of culture disturbing. And you better get that reference, I swear to God.
So,
You know what?
Demolition
no,
Man?
no, no,
Demolition Man.
Just
was he right? I'm
no, he wasn't right. And the fact that you don't know that he's wrong is more disappointing. I hate both of y'all.
All right, we're gonna have a movie year apparently.
Y'all must be educated. I have such sights to show you.
Yeah.
And y'all don't get that one either, do you?
Yes, that was freaking Hellraiser.
Thank you.
Oh,
Jesus.
okay. That movie scared
Okay,
me.
that was
a
like
long time.
actually one of my favorite films.
Oh my God.
one of the ones that
Because
terrified
if someone didn't get that one, I was just going to just murder y'all on this freaking podcast.
Thanks for
Like,
keeping us alive.
Hey.
That's why you hubby, not Rick.
I wonder if that would help with ratings.
Killing people? Okay, so I don't know
No, if
about
he would have
waiting
killed us on
for
the
it,
podcast.
but the idea that it'll come naturally
You want to
for
try?
you. But you also have to accept the fact that you're going to have people tell you you're running out of time around you, and you're going to be feeling that you're running out of time.
Yeah.
So that feeling of I have to wait until I find the right moment, you're still giving time control over you. You should just be. It's scary, but you should be manipulating everything around you to where you don't have to wait for it. There's no time involved. You're doing it. The only waiting thing you have to do is waiting until you grow into it more and more. Because it's not going to come perfectly naturally. You're not going to pick up a pen and you're like, I've always wanted to do this. And then just like, choir music in the background, Neff, as you're just like demonstrating a portrait to the gods or whatnot. No, more terrifying, like Sephiroth music.
You gotta.
Oh, so you mean more like, oh, hell. I was,
I know, I put on the spot. It's the same thing for me. Yeah, you're going to have to. The only thing that you should wait for when it comes to pursuing your passions is waiting for yourself to get to grow. Well, no. Don't even wait for that. Try hard every day to grow into the person you want to be. Because you're going to have to let it happen. So I guess that's like the only time aspect. Does that make sense?
Was in Egypt's land.
You're just drawing.
My people go.
What?
I was trying to think of a Negro spiritual. That was where I was going with that.
Okay, so you want to use Wade in the water?
I'm not good at that one. All right.
I do like that one. Don't do it.
Wasn't.
You were taking a big breath.
I was.
He
When
said
in the war.
So
Okay.
the other thing.
No, we're really crossing lines here.
We really are.
Like, can we agree?
What?
No more spiritual Negroes. I mean,
Whoa.
Wait. The
hold on,
trope
that's a
or the
trope.
music?
That's a trope. That's
The
a
trope
trope.
or the music?
No more Negro spirituals on this podcast.
You guys bet your asses I want to talk about that
from
trope
here
too.
on out. Okay.
All right.
Oh
Okay.
Lord, no more spiritual Negroes. Woo!
We
One
don't
last
need them
thing.
either.
Doing it for the culture.
Okay, you had to define spiritual Negro first of all, because there's a
Yeah, there's a trope of that.
you're thinking of magical Negro.
Oh, there's also the spiritual. But
It can be.
it's the
It can
same
be
thing.
Well,
magical
okay,
and
you-
spiritual.
but it is the
Negro.
magical
There is,
Negro, yeah.
because
Yeah.
Move back
technically all of us are spiritual Negroes, technically. But I mean, when I see how weird this gets. Anyway,
Yeah. You had also said that, and I saw it in myself too. As you started doing photo shoots with more and more dark-skinned black women, you were getting more and more complimented on it. And to you, that's just what you wanted to do. You found that appealing. You wanted to do it. You wanted to do more of it. You weren't in the moment thinking, I'm going to represent something that needs representation because representation. But it felt natural to do it.
To do it, yeah.
That's another part of it coming naturally. I felt the same way. I wanted to represent. I didn't just want to represent for the sheer fact of representation at first. I was just drawing what I love to see, what I
Yeah.
saw around me. And then I had a lot of people coming to me telling me, yo, you're really representing something that needs to be represented. You're in a place where there's not a lot of this, and so you're bringing it out. And I started to gear my stuff towards that intent of continuing to produce the thing I love naturally.
So here's my question to y'all. What if y'all never get that? What if y'all created something that doesn't get love? If people don't come up to you and say, this is what I needed to see, this made my day.
I have so many
How-
pieces like that.
How do you feel?
They can freaking drown in my Red River. I don't care.
Do you stop? Understand.
Yeah,
that makes
but no,
a
I
lot
get
of
what you're
people
saying.
stop.
No, here's the thing. First and foremost, here's the balance you need in life, because I always feel like you have people that do things because they love it, and that's a good reason to do things. But because they love it and because it's theirs, they don't progress beyond what they personally accept. And on the flip side, you have people that do things solely based on what other people want and care about.
Yeah.
Where the reality is, you have to find that sort of place in the middle. I want to poorly quote one of my favorite filmmakers here, Guillermo
boy.
del Toro.
Here we go.
He was making a point, because if you know Guillermo del Toro, he's the director of Hellboy 1 and 2, Blade
Pan's
2,
Labyrinth.
Pan's Labyrinth, Devil's Backbone, Chronos,
The
and
upcoming.
yeah. So
Scariest stories.
Yes.
Or scary
oh
stories.
yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. And he did Shape of Water, which I have missed films, but anyway. But he was talking about, working with Hollywood. I think his first Hollywood film was actually Mimic back in the 90s. And he was saying on the El Rey network, with Robert Rodriguez, the show was Director's Chair. He's saying, you have to find you can't go into the business saying what you will and won't do, or if you can't do it this way, you're out. You have to find a way to make your ideas pliable, how to make them work. And here's the thing about it. Any and all ideas are possible to get out there with all their integrity. But what you have to realize is that there's a bigger world out there with bigger opinions, bigger everything that are going to go against your wave. And the thing about it, there's a lot of learning that goes into that. It's like, hey, maybe you're actually wrong about some things. And you can learn on these things. That doesn't mean you betray who
Your
you
ideals,
are
yes.
and ideas. You just had to find a way to make them work for you and the larger world at large.
That's
Yeah.
so important.
What's that thing that Hubert always be saying?
You gotta know when to hold them and when to fold them.
Yeah. And that's basically
I'm
sometimes
mad.
you gotta
what
know
you're talking about.
when to quit. As a society, we put so much discouragement, so much negativity on quitting. Sometimes you gotta know when to quit. Sometimes this thing that you're trying to throw to people, this story, this film, this piece of artwork, is not all that good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you just gotta let it go. You just gotta accept it. You gotta move on to the next piece.
You gotta let it grow. That's something very important that I see
Gotta
all the
let it
time.
grow.
In the comic series, in the indie comic
Gotta
series,
let it grow.
in books, and you have this great, amazing concept, and you're like, you've been doing this for years, and you're thinking, I've put so much time into this. I can't give this up now. I put a lot of time into it.
Especially your first baby.
Right.
Ooh.
And not like literally baby, but metaphorically. That first story that you thought of where it's like, you know what I'm talking about in your teenage years. You watching that Yu Yu Hakusho, you watching that Dragon Ball, you watching Gargoyles,
Cowboy
you watching
Bebop.
all of that. And you're like, man, yo, I got an idea for a story, man. You watching Spaceball.
This is so original.
Space.
I just came across from Spider-Man, and I came
Cowboy
up with a new
Bebop.
superhero. His name is Scorpion.
Yes, but you have so many people, and they go and they don't understand. Like, all they doing is just literally replicating all that stuff that inspired them, and just creating that same thing.
And they stick to it, they hold on to it, and they don't allow it to grow. They believe that time holds over them and over their creation.
So I'm so
No,
sorry.
I
but
pointed to you.
This one was like I had to bust this one out. All right, listen. Take that how you will. Giggity.
See, I was just making a face no one could see. You made it worse.
Oh, you made a face no one could see, huh? So
No, it was a
no, it was a sex joke,
It's
Anna.
an Excalibur face.
it was a Excalibur. Please put that in there.
Okay.
So actually two things when you say it's not a literal baby, but actually I think that's a really good way of looking at it, because when you think about parenting, and I'm not the parent here, y'all are,
We're parents.
but correct me if I'm wrong.
We're 4-0.
But I don't even know how to process that. But anyway,
God, I remember when you used to say that.
in our world of parents that have been here, and parents have an idea of how they want their kids to turn out. They raise them, and then when their kids get older, they do things and they get into things where their parents are like, "What the heck is this?" No.
What is this?
And it becomes like this sort of battle between parents, because the parents have their ideas and the kids are like, well, I have these ideas.
Yeah, you tend to start to control what you want to see.
But at the end of the day, parents have to realize that, that child is growing up to be an adult and they're going to be their own person. Yeah. And in a sense, you have to allow your stories and your creations to do the same thing. You keep holding them back because of your original ideals.
Yes.
Right. But the fact is, they have to grow. You have to grow with them.
Or even when you let them go, you have so many people where it's like you're, it sucks. Your child can be successful or they can be a loser. Like it can be either. It can be either way. You got to come to terms.
I mean,
and just
it depends
accept it.
on your
Yeah.
I'm not so much talking about the human aspect, but
Oh, okay.
talking about metaphorically
that's
speaking. It can be one of the best things. It can be okay, or it can just be a flop.
Your original idea.
No
could
one would
be-
mess with it. But you literally have people that, when they get that one bad comment or multiple bad comments, they feel the need to fight for it and whatnot.
to shut it out, to
And,
stop.
Like,
it from
y'all don't know
growing.
what y'all talking about. And then, but the thing about it is, they do. That's their perspective. You created this story simply for yourself.
Yeah, if your story
So-
is for the audience and the audience is telling you this is not good, you could do better, and you're like, nope, you guys are gonna take it as I want it to be, then you kind of should realize you're not doing it for the audience, you're doing it for yourself.
And doing
That's
it,
not bad.
You're doing it for yourself.
And
But
another
don't say it's
thing-
for the culture if it's not for the culture.
And another
Yeah.
thing, and I'm gonna tell you something. I remember years ago. The devil. I think I had maybe like 40 stories by title written down in a little notebook, and these are all the stories I was gonna make into a movie. I can confirm to you right now that list has decreased tremendously, and I think only a handful of those stories I still care about. Everything else is a completely other story. And the thing about it, one thing I'm gonna tell you, my baby, I'm not gonna reveal the name. One, because that might not stay permanent. But my name,
The Tales of Maryland Dark Chocolate.
that is not. The cover you're using is not the right cover. So no, it's not even that story.
Can I just say that if you ever get into the strip business, please let that be your name.
Maryland Dark Chocolate.
Maryland Dark Chocolate. Yeah.
I like that little like baritone
See-
auto-tune thingy to it.
The worst
Maryland
thing, you know, the
dark
worst thing
chocolate.
about this, I don't know. There's a side of me that feels like that's not too far from my future. But anyway,
Okay, if not stripping, what about burlesque?
yeah, and that's exactly what I mean. I feel like
Hey,
that,
let's get it.
this
is-
You got
this
the
is becoming
contact.
closer
Let's contact
and
Monkey. Let's get him
closer.
in on the next show.
This is
Maryland
Can
Dark
I
Chocolate.
get on the next show? I can
Yo,
just be a kitten.
thumbs up.
Oh,
Wait, what?
what?
Huh?
I know about terms of the burlesque scene.
Arr?
so.
I don't know what you're talking about again.
So
Oh, yeah.
anyway, but no, that's not
I
the
think
story.
my wife wants to be a burlesque dancer.
So that's
It's an avenue.
God. Look, here.
Sorry.
God dang it. we'll bring this back up when we finally get Mackie.
Nothing's Monkey.
Monkey.
You do this every time.
I am terrible with names. What about that do y'all not understand? I am horrible. All right, crucify me.
Yeah, for
Anyway.
the longest time he was calling me Andy.
But that is.
What?
I don't know. I was trying to think of a mispronouncing.
Can you
how
tell the
to
liquor
how
setting?
to mispronounce Anderson.
It would be
And
like
I was like,
Anderson
or
something.
Onsen, or
If you
no.
spell that
He used to
careful.
call me Richard Anderson.
I did not.
No, man, but that is
Never
something
have.
that's come along that happens every
You
now
need to
and
be
then.
more Pacific. Anyway. God darn it. Anyway.
Literally,
Primarily, for the most part.
basically.
Basically.
It's okay because he doesn't ever fucking listen to this show.
Do I have to give it my information?
Was it alive before it died?
Sorry.
There are so many inside jokes that y'all do.
Sorry,
We're
everyone.
probably gonna cut this part out because I feel bad now.
No, leave
No,
it in.
leave it in.
Raw. Unedited.
I want to feel the pain.
Hey,
Anyway,
cool. Somebody
Oh my
just
goodness.
tweeted.
but okay, but no, it is not that story that you're thinking of, Neff.
I totally forgot what you were talking about, so.
Yeah, I know y'all did.
It's the other one, right?
Probably.
Starts with a D.
No.
Was not that one?
Just let him
No.
say it. I want to get to, like, I don't know. I want to know.
So anyway, long story short.
Starts with an H.
Oh, my.
Anyway, I came up with this back in 4th grade. It was around the time when I was getting into Star Wars and Dragon Ball Z.
Starts with a T.
No, it doesn't. And
W.
What?
W.
Dude, you about to go through the whole alphabet?
No, because I was thinking and then you're like, no. So it must be
What is it? You're just. What are we
No,
talking
it's
So
about?
anyway. Long story
Midnight.
short.
WP.
What?
WP.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Is
All
that is that one?
No,
I
it's
don't
not.
think it's that one.
Is
but I
that
guess
that
what you
one?
think it
No,
is.
I don't even know what the heck that is.
It's alright. I'll let you know later.
It's the one with the is it this one? The one with the superheroes.
No.
What?
That's not my baby.
Okay, if you're okay, just go ahead.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
let me. God damn it. You freaking freak. Anyway.
Okay, wow. So we're gonna be looking for a new third man,
I have no
Wait,
idea.
why can't it be a woman?
or woman. I don't care.
No,
Morty,
you Pacific.
I'm
We
about ready
heard
to
you.
replace you.
You were Pacific.
Yeah, literally. Anyway, basically,
For the most part, primarily.
God Christ. Anyway, long story short, this is what I can say. Over the years, I took a lot of inspiration from everything I was basically exposed to over the years from, Lord of the Rings, the X-Men movies, Terminator, just various things. And I was borrowing from all these to make a story into this one story. Now, don't get me wrong. I had my own distinct characters. It had its own mythology and all these other things. But a lot of big moments, a lot of big battles, I borrowed straight from all these movies. Well, I can say over the last couple of years, and I'm glad that I never put this to paper because all that's changed now. I've actually been getting rid of all those original inspirations because the more I really develop this universe and how it works, the more I realize a lot of the original ideas I had just plain and simply do not fit into the story, as well as some characters. And characters have been removed, they've changed, there's been some new characters added. Some characters just been put in other stories. I've taken other characters from other stories and put them in this one because it all just makes a lot more sense that way. So in other words, what I'm saying with this is that basically you have to go to a point where, here's the thing, inspirations are good, they're important, that's how we find our interest and our footing to begin with, but eventually you kind of just shave all that off, like shaving skin. Shedding skin like a snake. You know, that really did not come out right. But you know, it's like it was an important part of you that you need to let go to get to the next level. You know, it's you know, and it's always gonna be there. There's no shame in changing things up for the better, because as long as the core and the integrity is there, it's always gonna be what it was meant to be.
And that's a very important thing. If you love something, let it go. And then the rest of it goes something about coming back to you. But no, that's very important. Because as
The Last Jedi did both some kind of weird way. I'm sorry. I had to throw that in there.
Okay. Neff made a good point where he said that his original story, which is now called Andrea's Week, was originally Nephilim the Vampire Hunter, and then it became Nephilim the Hunter, and then it became Andrea's Week. It took him years to develop how he wanted the story to be. Same for me with Dare the World.
It's not like martial arts, actually.
It's now Dare the Hunt.
Shout out to one of my closest artist friends, Metal Nim, for suggesting that to me. Like, we were working on the story together. Like, for a short time, they were my artists to fill in for Midnight. And one of the things he told me was, hey, you need to, like, I know this story is very close to you, but you need to take a step back, because there's a lot of things that you have in this story that doesn't really make sense. And your reason for it being is because that's how it's always been.
Yep. Or you like it.
Yeah. I like it like that. Like,
same thing for
a lot of other people's first stories.
There's no need for a dragon in this mobster story.
And I was getting offended. Offended at him plucking through everything. Mm-hmm. So I'm
That's very important. Allowing people to nitpick at your work. They're not saying that your idea is terrible. You just they're gonna ask questions, and those questions are very important. Neff's making a thinking face, but I wanted to say, if it wasn't for him nitpicking at my story, my original story, Dare the Hunt, and other stories that I did, I probably wouldn't know the answer to a lot of the things that should be common knowledge for me, the creator. Yeah. I had to allow it to grow. I had to allow myself. He planted the seeds.
I had to destroy it. Like screw growing. I had to destroy it.
He destroyed the weeds.
I destroyed everything. I destroyed everything on my first story.
Oh, I was talking about myself.
And then I brought it back. I brought it back under something totally different, and I love it. Yes. I love it completely. I was then able to take everything that I was learning and studying with dialogue, through plot, through settings and characters, and I was able to do more than I ever could when, in its original state, has Nephilim the Vampire Hunter.
And that's a very important thing. Sorry, I'm just that there are cases where you're going to have to tear apart, shred apart completely what you've had set up so far. But he kept the core point of it. Even though some people might look at it and be like, oh, but now you got to start over from scratch. Now you got to spend more time doing this thing. You got less time now. No, because it's still doing the one thing you love that comes naturally to you. Writing, creating.
So
Andre's still there. Right? Andre's name is in the title.
The characters are still there.
You know what this means,
in
right?
a sense, but they're more fleshed out.
But y'all know what this means, right?
What does this mean?
I have to quote Bruce Lee.
Yay.
Time for a Bruce Lee quote.
Is that
segment of the show where we do Bruce Lee quotes?
All right, he's pulling it up. Oh,
hey, don't tell them that.
God. The tea.
Because I don't want to misquote someone that is in our era. It just seems stupid. Yeah, I'll probably do that all the time.
While he does that, I want to
Don't
say
break a
this.
knee when you're quoting Bruce Lee. It's a Bruce Lee quote with MDC.
We had talked
Wow.
about in one of that was pretty good, right?
Actually was.
He's the
wow.
writer in this, so that makes sense.
Yeah, that.
I'm
wow.
I'm prude. We had mentioned last time. I just want to. This is a little slightly off subject, but it was talk. It's still in episode 5. We had talked about the fact that our ancestors weren't slaves, and I'm on Twitter because
That was the last episode.
Yeah, I remember. And Bernice King, the daughter of Martin Luther King, she had posted a quote, and I feel this wholeheartedly in my being that I have to say it. I don't label my ancestors as slaves. I say they were enslaved. There is a difference. That's a very important difference.
That is.
Yeah, because if you say that your ancestors were slaves, that means that they weren't anything more than that, or that was the only defining thing of them. No, they were not slaves. They were enslaved, and that's completely different.
Okay, so
I love her on Twitter.
here's the
That was kind of random.
Sorry, I had to do that.
That would have been like a dope afterthought. But
So-
no, yeah, I agree. We weren't slaves. We were enslaved.
So okay, now this is why I wanted to bring up Bruce Lee. Going back to when we were talking about stripping away things that are unnecessary. What?
I thought you were gonna say talking about becoming a stripper, Maryland dark chocolate and whatnot.
Are you
Maryland
having
dark
thoughts?
chocolate to the stage, y'all. I am.
You know, the more y'all bring it up, the more I feel like it's y'all that want me to become a stripper.
It makes a lot of sense. And,
And
it's
why
not a bad
wouldn't
thing.
we, Twinkle Toes?
Whoa!
I am not taking
what?
off my socks.
Please don't.
I mean, that can be your gig.
No.
Please continue with what you're saying.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I take good care of them, but I'm just saying. Anyway, so his quote is this: research your own experience, absorb what is useful, reject what is useless, add what is essentially your own. And I feel like that can be applied to literally any and all things. Of course, he's applying it to martial arts. That's what Jet Can Do is about, taking what the most useful tactics in fighting and getting rid of things that are not going to help you. And that's the same way I feel about, like, you know, writing stories. It's like so many times I'm pretty sure you watched the movie, seen the anime, or even read a book, and there's something in there that just comes out of left field, or that's just there that does not fit with the rest of the story, does nothing for you. You're thinking, okay, why is this here? A simple answer: because the writer, director, creator just wanted it there.
Yeah, you have to ask why.
They themselves put that there, and they did not take no for an answer, and it ended up just unbalancing everything.
Yeah.
And you have to be wise enough to know that just because you like it doesn't mean it's good. You know, there's so many things. Like I said, this is a reason why I often it's not the best thing to procrastinate. That's one thing, one side of me I can personally say I'm really trying to get out of. But it is good to marinate on things for a while, because in the meantime you can actually get other stories and ideas out the way while you're still meditating on this one idea. And I can say that's been very helpful, because my story, the story that I've been talking about, that's my big secret or whatever, like I said, it's been with me. This is the oldest story that I have that I still actually care about. And I consider it my baby, my biggest one. But it is nothing like it was originally. It is so different. The entire realm and world is different.
Okay.
And
I'm down for that.
you know, it's a completely different story now, because as I've grown up, you know, my point of view of things have changed. And, you know, I feel like every time you write a story, create something, it always has a part of you in it, you know, whether it's that is your political ideologies or your religious beliefs, where they may have you. And those things have changed over the years with me, you know, and because of that, so have my stories, you know.
That is very important, though. Marinating. Like, that's something that people are scared to do because of the fact that you're running out of time. I don't have time to stop and think on this idea. I gotta get it out. I gotta get it out now. Soon I'll be 30. Soon I'll be 40. Soon I'll be 50. If I let it marinate for too long. First of all, you don't even know how long too long is.
Yeah, some stories come out half-assed because of people rushing it, not letting it to ripe.
Yeah, you gotta Once you
You
think of
gotta,
the
you
idea,
gotta
it's not
let it.
ready.
Yeah, you just don't take that junk. You just don't harvest it then. Let it ripe. Let sit on it. Like I think one of the worst things that schools taught us was, when we write a report or a story, we'll list down the notes and ideas and immediately go and look over it. No, let it rest. Let it rest for a day, then come back to it. But
Yeah.
yeah, this is the part where we're gonna wrap it up.
Woot
Um,
woot. So, I mean, if there's anything that I personally would say to any artists, any creators out there that want to take from this, is time's not working against you. You're in full control of time. That sounds like a scary idea because it's such a huge, it's outside of you. But honestly, time is relative. It's
yeah,
how you
yeah,
spend it. It's how you spend it. It's what you do with it. You are in complete control. And with that idea, allow yourself to give yourself time. Allow yourself to realize that time's not your master. Like MDC said, don't compromise with anything, not even time. You don't have to.
Yeah.
The greats didn't.
yeah.
And I want to add something else to that where, it goes back to like people wondering. Like I said, I know it's gonna get weird me bringing up death a lot, and tap me in that too. But I just want to say this is one thing I came to the compromise of. And I'm gonna talk a little on the political climate. I'm not gonna get into details about who we voted for, none of that. I'm just gonna say, politically speaking, things have been rough for like the last 3 years. And one thing
Oh, boy.
about that, it really had me thinking, geez, is it even worth going into the fields I want to, or should I just, pack up and go somewhere with a bunch of guns and survival equipment? Like, I was honestly thinking that. And in fairness, that's not the first time I've thought of that in
It's
life.
not.
So, it's not just the political climate that we're in now. But one thing had occurred to me. I had to stop and tell myself, it's like, well, you could stop everything you've been doing all your life and just completely switch up out of fear and insecurity, or you could just go ahead and do what you've been doing anyway and just see what happens.
Yeah.
Because the fact is, you never know. Maybe the world doesn't end and you're just stuck with all your weapons and shelter when you could have been creating stuff to make the world better.
Maybe you're not running out of time. Yeah.
And the fact is, it's like, well, in any event, I have a better chance of doing what I need to do by being stable into the career I had chosen years ago, as opposed to switching up just out of fear.
Yeah. So yeah, you're not running out of time. I hope that you believe that, and I hope that you find it as your own truth, because we can't just tell you it. It's got to be your truth. You got to take it. You got to embody it. You got to understand and believe it yourself. So, with that, thanks for listening, y'all. I think we officially wrapped up episode 5. 5.1, 5.2, 5.3. The next one is
Wait,
what?
hold on. That's not what it's called. It's called 5, A New Hope. 5, The Empire Strikes Back.
Oh, we got to put that at
5,
the beginning now.
The Last Jedi.
What's
Wait a minute. No. I'm sorry. Return of the Jedi. Now I'm screwing up.
Oh, goodness.
Get out. But
You
yeah,
gotta
yeah.
show that guy. You gotta show him right.
just turn it. Get out. I don't even know if I'll be able to find that specific scene.
We got to find it now.
It's the age of
Yeah, right.
technology.
I'm not.
We can do
I'm not going to bother.
Yeah, you are.
I'm the only.
I
gonna
will find
bother.
it for you
I'm
now.
the only
I
one
will
to
find
edit
it
these
for you
videos.
now.
But yeah.
Get out.
So wrapping up, Midnight said his share. MDC said his share. Hey, you never run out of time. You're in control of your own time. Everything is relative, past, present, future. Just make sure to be present in today and really look at and evaluate your time, and are you using your time to the best of your abilities. Without further ado, is
Artist Wife, Midnight,
writer husband Neff.
with MDC. Thanks,
We
y'all.
out. Peace.
Laters.